Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and it's time for some more Gunpla news. So yesterday, the most recent wave of Gunpla was released, that being the Geirail, the Shiden, the Strike Freedom Revive, and Option Set 6. These were released on the 10th, and in something that I believe is a first, we did not get the box art for some of these kits until the very moment they were released. Now the Geirail's box art, we already had a very grainy preview of it before, but now we have it in full resolution, and it looks very nice. It is the new IBO box design they've been using for Season 2, so of course it has a pretty nice look to it. I'm personally a big fan of this box design, so that's a thumbs up. And one thing that I finally noticed in these pictures that I never really realized before, and I feel kind of stupid for not noticing it because it seemed fairly obvious in hindsight in all the official images, but the axe actually transforms into a shield. Like, I always thought it was just kind of stuck on his arm, but it actually kind of folds open and kind of butterflies out into a shield, which is pretty darn cool. And I like it a little more now that I know that it's not just a solid block of plastic. Although it does kind of suck that it's so hollow now. But whatever. And then there are some stickers on it that weren't immediately obvious before either. Most notably these gray kind of semicircle cylinders on the chest. And then there's these gray spots on the ankles that don't look super great, but they're not the worst thing we've seen out of IBO, so not too bad. And then there's the Shiden box art, which we did not see until the very minute these kits were released and the box art was put up at the retailers. Not sure why they didn't release it beforehand, but here you go, it's the Shiden's box art. The thing that's really striking me about this is that the little pilot portrait in the corner is of Hush, who I was absolutely certain up until now was going to be the Gundam Floros pilot, just because they're building him up so hard as a pilot that he's got to have a Gundam. There's no way they're not going to give him a Gundam, but they're showing him on the Shiden box, and that's throwing me off because there's a lot of different people to pilot the Shiden, and you'd think that they choose one of the ones that doesn't pilot a Gundam to be on the Shiden box. They have different pilot portraits on the different boxes, but this might mean that he's not the Floros pilot, and that has me kind of confused and kind of messes up my theory, but that's all just fan theory stuff. So bottom line is, Hush is on the box. That might have an effect on whether or not he's the Floros pilot, but there's no way to tell yet, and the only thing you can really do is just keep watching the show. Also, I feel I need to mention that since I talked about stickers with the Geirail, stickers on the Shiden, there's only two of them. There's one for the eye, and there's one for the visor, and the rest of it's all plastic, which is, I have to say, pretty cool. Even if I'm not a huge fan of this design, I still like the fact that he just kind of kept the stickers to a minimum. Then we have the Lunagazer Gundam. One image of it doing this big wing gimmick thing, and if you're familiar with Stargazer, this is going to look awfully familiar. And I really like that it does this because up until now, it's called the Lunagazer Gundam. This did not feel like a Lunagazer Gundam. It felt like a HGUC that somebody painted up in Stargazer homage colors. But this looks like the Stargazer brought into Build Fighters. Just giving it that halo backpack just really sets that visual silhouette that is immediately recognizable as the Stargazer, and now it feels like a Lunagazer Gundam. Before, it just felt like the HGUC lunar type or something. I don't know. It didn't feel like the Stargazer, and I really like that it does this now. Then we have one final Gunpla Expo exclusive. This is the high-grade Barbatos Lupus clear color version. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a clear version of the Barbatos Lupus. And it looks like you're getting the weapons from Option Set 5 as well, so you get the full kind of weapons roster for this guy, which is always cool to see in these exclusive kits. And then wrapping up tonight, we have two new premium Bandai reveals. The first one is a high grade. This is the Gundam Phenex Unicorn Mode version RC, which is the silver version with the red cycle frame. It's, I believe, the most recent one to be added to the Gundam Front Tokyo roster, and the destroy mode for this, the non-plated one, I actually really want to pick up sometime. Probably more so than almost any of the other Gundam Front Tokyo kits, but I've never been able to find it for a good price, so I haven't jumped on it yet. But this is the Unicorn mode, and it is plated, so it's very bright, very shiny. I don't really like how it looks. I think it looks kind of tacky with all the bright chrome all over it, but I don't know, if they release this with the more kind of gunmetal silver that they did on the destroy mode, I might pick one up, but as it is, I'm not really that interested. But, you know, it's premium Bandai, so no big loss. This also seems to be kind of a companion piece to the Gunpla Expo exclusive Phenex Unicorn mode that they're going to be releasing pretty soon as well. Then we have the Master Grade GM2. Now the GM2 is almost kind of a hardware update to the GM that you see in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. It doesn't really do a whole lot, and more or less just gets its ass kicked throughout the show, so I'm not at all surprised to see this get the premium Bandai treatment. I'm okay with it. I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. I think the biggest improvement over the GM is they took that really ugly green and they replaced it with some white, so it doesn't look quite as hideous now. And I do also like that they kind of crisped up the detail on like the head and stuff. Really helps it look a little more refined than it did before. But for the most part, honestly, I'm not that interested in this personally. Although, if you do want one, obviously you're going to have to grab one pretty quick because premium Bandai, you know how those tend to go. So that's the end of the news as far as Gunpla goes. But one final reminder. I've mentioned this before, but my friend the Shokyo1, He has a podcast called Shoki's Nerdcast. I was on the first episode along with Dan the Plastic Man. We talked about all sorts of nerd and geek stuff, and it is live right now on his channel. So go over, watch that. It was really fun to record. It was really fun to listen to, and did a really good job kind of editing together a bunch of cool visuals to go with it. So it's definitely worth checking that out. There's a link down in the description. Go check it out. Subscribe to him. He does really cool stuff. And if you liked this video, leave a like before you leave. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I do Gunpla news, Gunpla reviews, all sorts of stuff like that. And we've grown by over 30 subscribers since the last video, so keep sharing. Anywhere you can share these videos, your Facebook, your Tumblr, your Twitter, any kind of thing where you know Gunpla people will see it, put it out there. Let's see if we can hit that 2,000 by Thanksgiving goal. I know we can do it. It's going to be awesome. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.